Hello and welcome to yet another super exciting video. So I borrowed the Logic protocol analyzer from work today, and you can see I've got it hooked up onto my little breakout here where I'm looking at the transmit and the receive. Transmit's pin 25 on the micro, receive is pin 26 on the microcontroller, so those are just soldered on there with a convenient ground. And I've got it running right now, so we've got data coming across on the scope, and I was able to do some captures. And this is the packet, so we can zoom in here. So this is the first packet that it sends out, and you can see it's got a little bit of a wait period here where it holds the line low, and then it outputs 55, and then an address, and then the transmit just clocks out 55, while the receive starts getting data. And the receive looks like it passes through the 55, the address, and then it always does a F20000, and then we have data. So, if I haven't actually sat down and started decoding it yet, I think I have this set up right, because let me open this up here. Edit settings. So I've got it set for 8N1, 19.2K baud, 8N1. I got it in different order here. I have set to least significant. I just left everything on standard. This could be backwards, and this could be backwards. I'm not sure yet. I think it's set correctly simply because the address counts in an ascending order. So if you look at the first the first bit from the nibble, so the last nibble and the first bit from that, you can see it's C1, and then the next packet is 4.2. So we'll just assume you lop off the first nibble, and so you've got 1, 2. The next one is 3, 4, 5, 6, and etc. So it looks like it's counting in ascending order, which is what I saw in the scope. So I think I'm decoding the protocol properly. Definitely looks like the last byte is a checksum. That one, I've gotten a few captures where the data in the entire thing was identical except for one bit, and this is definitely a checksum. So we know somewhere in here in this data has to be encoded the 4 voltages from the 4 cells, because each chip does 4 modules or 4 cells. And so if look, there's 24. Let me zoom in a little bit. So there's 1, 2, oops, can't see. Here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24 of the balancing chips that does all 96 cells, 4 on each one. So we know that that data has to be in there somewhere, because we can read that over canvas. And then we get 10 packets after that, much smaller packets, which appear to just put out an address, or the same delay, or holds down the line, does a clocks in the 55, then outputs an address of some kind, and then some data, and then this is also a checksum. Now instead, it looks like everybody must receive this. I don't know if this might be a global address or something like that, where everybody seems to receive that, and then this has to have balancing information in it. And we get 10 of those packets. Some of them have 5 bytes, and some of them have only 4 bytes. And so we're going to have to figure out what those do. There's 10 of those. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And the way my pack is set up right now, I've got some high and some low, so I think it's actively trying to balance them, but I'm not 100% sure. The data is different in some of the packets, but I haven't seen it change. So those might be a little bit more difficult until I start intentionally discharging cells or charging cells to see what happens. We might not get any balancing data unless I actually try to charge the pack, and I'd have to figure out what signals, because this battery management system talks to the battery charger over CAN bus. So I might have to fake a battery charger to get it to output balancing data, but I'm not quite sure. If it actively balances all the time, then I think we're in good shape. I've gone ahead and exported the files, all the stuff that I've recorded, so I can look at it. But I also did it the old-fashioned way, and I wrote it down on. I've done multiple runs, and I wrote it all down on this piece of graph paper here. So I've got some initialization packets that go out at the very beginning. Those only go out at the very beginning, and then we start going through the 24 balancing chips, and you can see it counts C1. So if you just ignore the upper nibble, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, A, B, C, D, E, F. And then it starts repeating, and then it jumps back to the beginning. So it just keeps doing that. And then I wrote down some packets. So I've got this all written out, and the voltages that I read over the CAN bus simultaneously. So I know what these should encode in here somewhere. And I've got some high outliers, like this one, number 20 is at 4.009, 4.07, I've got some down here. So I should be able to figure out where that's encoded in here. I don't know if it's bit stuffed. It might only be 12-bit data, and then that's so one of the upper nibbles and lower nibbles is shared, but I'm not sure yet. If it's 16-bit, 12-bit, 24-bit, who knows. I know that this is definitely a checksum. And then for all the data going to the balancers, so this is all the data coming from the balancing chips, and this is all the data going to it with multiple runs. So yeah, I have to decode all this and figure it out. Hopefully be able to decode their protocol. And once we have that, then we'll perform a brain transplant and remove their micro from the loop and put my micro in. Since I am only going to be balancing 80 cells, 40 in series with another 40 in series, and there's a setup to do 96, and it freaks out when it starts missing. If you just remove power to one of them, then it just doesn't work anymore. So we're going to have to do a little bit of a brain transplant once we get this protocol figured out. But anyways, yeah, that's what's going on. Thanks for watching.